So number one, consistency no matter what. Consistency is not to a particular thing, like, oh, I have to do 3 social media posts a day, or I have to sell, these kind of things in this kind of way. The consistency is simply around butt in chair. Now, I really find it very helpful to designate loosely an amount of time that is going to be set aside for that. And it's not fixed, meaning it doesn't have to be exactly the same total amount of time each day, but it's more that when I consider the day that's coming up, what is the loose aligned amount of time that I know I'm going to commit? Am I going to put my butt in the chair for 30 minutes? Am I going to put my butt in the chair between 9:30 a.m. and 11:30 a.m.? Am I going to have a big, hustle flow session and just get on top of a bunch of admin as well as creative work? And I'm just going to anchor that in the same sort of way that I will anchor in, okay, I'm going to do my workout loosely at such and such time. It's going to be loosely, this duration of period of time that's required for that workout today. So you want to just be consistent to making space. See, I didn't even bother to get a fancy cup today. That's how raw and real we are. I've got so many fancy cups right there on my bookshelf, but I'm not getting up at this point. Okay, so a lot of people who are not consistently making money, plain and simple, are not consistently showing up and they're not consistently selling. And so they've set all these hurdles for themselves as to what they think they need to do first so that they're equipped to be able to show up or sell. But if you have internet access, you can be showing up and selling today. You don't need to set up Stripe. You don't need to set up a website. You don't need to set up anything. You can be selling with sending people, like a PayPal link to PayPal you the money. For example, I'm not suggesting that that's an ongoing way of doing business, but I'm just making my point here. So what consistency do you need to stick to? It's going to be some sort of mix of messaging, sales, call to action. And for years, I've taught that the 3 non-negotiable things that you should be doing each day relevant to business are number 1, your own just dropping in, your inner work, your journal. Well, this really means looking to the Lord, your scripture reading, your prayer, but maybe also journaling out your intentions for the day. What do you feel God is leading you on? What are you committing to on the practical side of it? And once again, not overthinking it. What is the message you would share right now if you were thrust onto the stage and you didn't have any time to prepare and you were just, bam, going to speak for 3 minutes on something? What do you really feel people need to hear right now? What is bubbling up inside of you? And then same sort of thing. Okay, if you had to be selling something today, it was I don't know, ordained by the Lord, all right, you're going to create and sell something today, then what would it be? What would be the thing today? Now, clearly, some people are going to have a physical product. You can't actually sell it today, right? If you're producing a physical, item. But for most of us, we're here as messengers. We're here as course creators. We're here as we have something to impart to people, and mostly it's a product of who we actually are. So it really shouldn't need all this hoop jumping and hurdle leaping, and it actually shouldn't need hours in prayer or supplication to the Lord to get clarity that he has already put inside of you. It needs to be, I am clear, I have the mind of Christ, he is leading me, I am living my life, in a way of continually adjusting further into my true identity in him. I have been given a voice. I do have a heart for people, for a certain type of people, maybe in particular, the people who you feel most compelled to speak life into. And so I have the ability to show up today and to share the message today and to make sales today. And sometimes you need to get over the hang up part as well about I just feel like I'm kind of doing the same thing again and again and again. Yeah, that is largely what business is about. Honestly, that is largely what it's about. So many of the times that you don't show up are either the stuff I was saying before, an idea that you first have to put all these things in place, hurdles that you've set for yourself to leap past before you're allowed to apparently show up, and it's not true, it's a lie. But the other part of it is you're listening perhaps to Satan directly, condemnation, but it can also be just your own mind and emotions. It's not always a demon. And you're listening to an idea that, I should be more whatever by now, and I should have whatever, and I'm just kind of doing the same thing again. People need to consistently hear your voice, and you consistently being just the voice that you are today and just staying that course is going to have the effect of, when you look back over your shoulder, look at that brand that got built. I mean, I used to shop in 2014. I was 2015, I was living in Bali for most of the year. And I would just do a little video every day. I started to do that, I think at the start of that year. And I think when I started, we were in the Bahamas for a month. And I was like, I don't know, more of a messy, sweaty mess than I am right now. But at least now I've got a light that's making me a bit more glowy. I had no lighting, I had no filters, I had no quality, anything at all. And I would just impart the little message. And it was like a 3-minute video. And I would, like, wherever I was in like the nastiest cheap rental car in the nastiest dodgy car park with, like, I don't know, a Target gym top on or whatever it was. And yet my business was making by that point already, like, I was about to hit my first $1 million year, you know, and it was like I hadn't even heard of all the bells and whistles because it really largely didn't exist in the industry. And that was the biggest, like, to this day, that was the biggest, like, you know, rapid moving growth of period of time in my business because I started to just be consistent. And yes, you're welcome for the reminder. Clarity he's already put inside of you. Like, we really have to opt out of the idea that we're confused, right? So consistency, no matter what, it doesn't look like you figuring out and applying every possible thing that every possible fancy person is doing on the internet. Because even if some of those things are for you and it really would align with your brand and your vision, you don't need to have it all in place today. You really just need to do today's work today and start to expect that it does stack up because it does.